Hi everyone. I just had a stamp camp yesterday, so I'm putting together a couple of the leftover packets that I had. I usually cut 2 or 3 extra of each card. That way, if someone makes a mistake, I can pull out just that piece that's needed. And then if there's leftovers at the end, that's okay. I'll make a video. So we made a really cute snowman card. It's a shaker. And I kind of got the idea from another demonstrator named Ashley Pfeiffer. She's a super great demonstrator from Canada, and she made something similar, different stamp set, different colors, but the idea is the same. And I thought it was super cute, and I knew that I hadn't made a shaker card in a very long time at stamp camp, so I thought we would do that. And it was fun because we had some new people, and I think they liked it. So mine uses the Snowman Season stamp set, and this is from the annual catalog. And I think this is a really fun snowman set. I love the little one here. There's a paper punch that matches him. And then I like all the little guys that are having so much fun. And I also thought I would bring along to Stamp Camp this stamp set, which is Sweet Ice Cream, because it has some really fun sayings. And maybe some of the ladies and people at Stamp Camp are done with their Christmas cards. And I thought this was a cute one to also do for a birthday. Look at the sentiments here. They work great with snow. You melt my heart. So cute for a snowman. You're so cool. And a happy birthday. So anyway, I really like this one in conjunction with this one. So I brought it along, and I think only one person made a birthday card out of it, but that's okay. Options, right? So this is a really fun shaker, and you can put any image in the shaker. And I want to show you what dies I use because they're really fun. This is called So Many Snowflakes, and it has so many snowflakes. Let's see, it's got some little ones in there that I'm not sure if you're seeing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different dies. I kind of feel like there's another one. Oh no, it says 8. Okay, and what we're using is this one. And I also did this one and this one. I cut out already. But isn't this a fun one? Now, technically you could use this to put a sentiment or something like that, but it's perfect for a shaker card. So let me show you how it cuts out. You're actually using the negative space. So the cutout part is kind of tossed because it's kind of weird looking. Let me see if I have one in my trash. I did. Okay, so here's what the negative space looks like. Kind of funky, right? I mean, I'm supposed you can use it for something, but I just tossed that. And the negative space is what you're using. And you can use it for not a shaker too. Look how pretty that is. And kind of the snowflakes come off the edge. Super pretty and really fun for a shaker. So that's the die we're using. And then I already cut these things out for Stamp Camp. There's my snowflakes, and I give everybody a little packet. So that was in there already. This is for the inside. So let's see what's missing from this kit. I think I pulled out the acetate. Let me cut a new one. This is a clear sheet called a window sheet or an acetate sheet, or you can use a transparency. I want to make sure how big I need it. Yep, this is not big enough. Okay, so you've got your acetate sheet and your card base. I'm using Night of Navy, and that is a standard card base, which is an 8.5 and 11 by 8.5 by 11, cut in half and then scored down the center. And then I've got this little piece that's going to pop up on top of that, and this one is cut 5 1/4 by 4. And then I'm doing the window this way. You can also do it this way too. I'm going to do it this way, and I die cut it slightly high, so it's not directly in the center, it's slightly high, and that way you can use a sentiment in the corner, and that's the first step. So let's do that. Okay, so I've got Let It Snow, and I'm going to emboss that. So I'm going to grab my Versamark and stamp that in the corner right here. going to go ahead and emboss that in white. Silver would look really pretty too. When I emboss on my YouTube videos, I usually turn the volume off because it's loud and I might fast forward. So that's why it looks funny. Okay, so I've got my sentiment on there. Now the next step you want to do, if you're going to do it like this sample card, is the sponging. So let me grab my sponge. So I'm using a little sponge dauber and some craft white ink. I forget I even have this all the time, I have to admit. It's such a nice ink. The reason why you have to do the sponging after is because the craft ink dries slower and it's slightly sticky, and your embossing powder will stick to it. So then your embossing will go on the letters and on the areas you sponged. Okay, so I'm just trying to give it a little bit of a frosty feel by sponging some white along the frame. Okay, so I've got that all done. And you can be as dramatic or as muted as you like with that. Okay, now the next step for this is we're going to flip it over, and you need to run some adhesive around that window area. And then lay down your transparency. Okay, so that is ready. Now the next thing we're going to do is do our stamped area. So I made that little snowman here, and I'm going to color it with Stampin' Blend. So that means I need to stamp with Memento ink, and I'm going to use this little guy. I just really like this one the best. He's kind of throwing some snow up in the air, super happy. Now I cut this at, I think it's 3.5 by 5.25, and you want to stamp it kind of low, but you'll be able to position it behind your window sheet, so don't worry because you're going to cover most of this anyway. Okay, now I'll color it really fast. I'm using Stampin' Blends. I just picked a couple colors. I'm using the red on the main parts of his scarf, and this is Poppy Parade actually. And I'm using it on his hat and scarf on the larger areas. And sometimes when you're coloring something so small, I don't use both the dark and the light of a Stampin' Blend. And this hat I am just a tiny bit. So I'm coloring it with the light Poppy Parade. And then I'm going to bring in the dark just the tiniest bit. And I'm just going to kind of go along where the hat folds over, so it's kind of darker there, and maybe the top and bottom of the scarf, just to kind of give it some roundness. And I don't know if you can see that, but I just kind of added some dark to the top and bottom of the scarf, like so. But with the carrot nose, I'm just going one color. I'm just going dark pumpkin pie. It's so tiny that I don't need the light and the dark contrasts on that, I don't think. Same with the spruce tree. I'm using Shaded Spruce Dark, and I'm just going to kind of, not even worrying so much about getting every little pine needle. Just giving it a little bit of green. Now with Pool Party, I brought out the dark and the light, but for different reasons. I'm going to use the dark to do these. I like the little bullet end on this one because it's really tiny. I'm going to do the stripes. Like so. And maybe the tuft of his hat. And then I'm going to take the light and I'm just going to highlight the snowman the slightest bit. I'm going to use the brush tip, and I'm just going to kind of give him a little bit of color around the roundness of that giant snowball, like this, just to highlight it a little bit. And a lot of these details are going to be hard to see behind that shaker anyway, but why not? Alright, and I'm not going to bother doing anything with his little twigs arms. And we'll just leave them black. Alright, so I'm just getting a little snow to the bottom. Alright, and that's the light pool party. And that's all I'm doing for the coloring. Now for the shaker element, I'm going to use some sequins, and there are sequins in the current catalog. However, I had several from the older catalogs of different kinds, and they were perfect for this, so I didn't purchase any new ones. This one has little tiny snowflakes and iridescent, perfect. And this one had bigger ones, so I thought I can mix and match. I want to make sure I don't get any of the gold ones though. There's a few gold ones in there. Okay. So what you're going to do is I like to have a couple snowflakes, just one or two that stay up, because when someone gets the card and they maybe stand it on the counter or something and leave it out to look at throughout the week, the sequins all fall to the bottom, of course. So that's a little bit too much glue. I like to have a couple floating up in the air just so they remember that it's a shaker, and someone who picks it up might remember to look at it and pick it up and see it closer, and then they'll see the shaker element. So I've got a few dots of glue, and that's just going to hold a couple sequins in place where I want them. So I'm going to grab, let's see if I grab, where's my little pick tool? Oh, when I come home from stamp camp, I'm such a mess. I don't know where my take your pick, oh, here it is. I hadn't put it away yet. Okay, here it is. Alright, so I'm going to put a little snowflake sequins around. Okay. Maybe some of these baby ones. So cute. And I guess maybe a larger white one. Okay. Alright, so you've got some down that are going to stay floating in the sky. The rest are going to shake. So you're going to take kind of a handful, and I'm going to put some of these bigger ones and some of these for like softer. Kind of mixing my sequins here. And you're going to dump them in the middle. Don't sprinkle them around because they're not going to stay there anyway. Dump them right on that belly, and kind of you need sometimes more than you even think you do, because they do kind of spread out and hide in the corners, and you want them to be seen. Okay. I think that's good. They're static to your fingers. You're going to find them everywhere. Okay, now we need to build our wall so that the sequins don't fall out the side, right? So we're going to take foam adhesive strips. These were brilliant when they added these to the catalog a few years ago, several years back. So, foam adhesive strips. All right, and you're just going to go around your window area. Now, you don't go all the way up here. I mean, you can, but that means your sequins have more places to go, and you kind of want to limit them to the area where people can see, right? Otherwise, you can't see them anyway, so why bother? So I kind of build my wall just around that image, and yes, there are some little peeking areas through here, but the strip is white and the background's white, and I think it's okay. If you don't like that, you can go just a slightly bit further out. Alright, and I'm going to finish this off. Alright, so we've got our little barricade, our sequin barricade. Oops. And now we're going to peel the backing. And you're going to place it over your snowman here. Static is making those sequins rise. There we go. Okay. Here, and now you've got your shaker. Now we're going to place it on our Night of Navy background. Now I will say, Stampin' Dimensionals are not quite the same height as the foam adhesive strips. They're just not. They're slightly different. This is a little bit thicker. And so I'm going to grab another one, and before I place it down on my card front, I'm going to add some to the back here so that it's the correct height, and then you can add some glue to there. Now if any of your white, because you had to line it up in that window, is sticking off the sides, you can take your snips and cut that off, but I think mine is all concealed, and I'm going to go ahead and place it down. Oh, I forgot to take the backing off. Okay. It's Monday. There we go. All right, so we've got our base of our card. And now we're going to do some further embellishing with our snowflakes. So I've got a couple. I cut a bigger one and a little one. I thought I'd put the little one up here and the bigger one down here just for some added snow. And maybe that might get a little busy. But it's all about just a fun card, so I like it. And for this one, I'm just going to add just a dot of glue behind the little one. And if you have any more little sequins laying around, you can place one right in the center of that snowflake. And I put them all away already. Let's find maybe a silver one. See if I can find a medium-sized one. Here we go. All right, and then for this side, I wanted to add a little bit of bow for some texture. So this comes in a pack with silver and gold, and I just grabbed the silver one. And I'm making myself a little bow. And I just place this down with the glue dot. Right there. And then I'm going to add some of that liquid glue and stick that snowflake on there. It's a little wobbly because that bow is kind of sticking up a little bit, which is why I'm going with the liquid glue. And then you can add a little sequin on the top of it. Where's my lid? And once that glue dries, it'll dry in place and it'll be just fine. I got so much glue on my take your pick tool. Let's see if I can do it that way. There we go. It's very gluey.
Okay.
All right, let's work on the inside. Ugh, it's that liquid glue. All right, so for the inside, I had these little snowflake clusters from the same stamp set, and I'm going to stamp them in the Night of Navy. Pool Party would be a good choice too. And I'm just going to kind of have them in the corners. Just a little flurry. And then I've got my Merry Christmas. And I'm going to do that in Poppy. Okay. And then one more stamp. In Navy. And this one says, hoping this season builds heartwarming memories. I'm going to do it on top so that I have a space to write something here. You could do it underneath too, or maybe I should have put that Christmas a little lower, but I think we're okay. Look, I got it off again. I might have been better off sticking with more glue dots on this one, but I think once it dries it'll be okay. I just have to leave it alone and not keep fussing with it. So there is our cute little Snowman Shaker card. Super cute for this time of year. I'm actually looking forward to snow. We only had a few flurries, nothing stuck so far. Okay. Stay. I'm not going to shake you anymore until you're dry. There you go. Here's the other one. This one is dry. See? It will stay. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you'll come back again. Hit the little bell so you'll get notified of the next time I make a video. And if you're in the area, come to a stamp camp. They're really fun. Demonstrators can come too. You don't have to not be a demonstrator. We have a couple demonstrators that come, and then it's just a fun time to get together and stamp. We usually make 5 projects in all, and this was one of them. Thanks for watching. Bye!